Hi everyone. So today I'm just going to go through taking some cuttings of yew. So basically, I've been and taken some um, new growth off an established plant. Basically, brought those back home in a bag just to reduce any moisture loss. So they've been in that bag for probably about 20 minutes, half an hour. The quicker that you can do it, the better. The quicker you can get them back into a pot, the better. But these bags are really good. The Ziploc bags at the top just stops any moisture coming out of them there. Um, so I will just show you the material that we'll use. So I don't know if you can see that there, but basically um, these pieces are new growth here. This is possibly a better piece to sort of show you here. Um, this shorter stub here, that's 2 year old growth, and then from that base there, all of this is fresh growth this year, and that's basically what we want to use for our cutting. And if you bend it, you can feel that's quite supple, that's quite soft. It doesn't really have any rigidity to it. The further you come down, that's a lot firmer, but it's not as firm as the piece at the bottom, which is 2 year old growth. I can't bend that at all. Down there, that little stub, there's no give in that at all, but there is a little bit in that, but it's firmer than this growth here at the top. And that's where you want to use, that's what you want to use as you're cutting there. That is what will root. So what I've done, I've just got some ordinary multi-purpose compost and mixed in some perlite. You can see there it's around about 50-50, probably more compost than perlite, to be honest, a little bit, but it just means that it keeps an open structure. Once the cuttings are in that, there's air around throughout the compost, which is what the cuttings need to form roots. I tend to prefer to use a terracotta pot purely because they breathe a little bit rather than the plastic. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and fill that up. And again, with yew, we tend to take quite long cuttings. So a good sized pot like this one is ideal, really. So we just tap the top down, not too firm, but you just want it a nice sort of firm surface. We'll put a little bit more on the top there, firm that down. And then if we go back to our cuttings, what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to show two methods of doing this because we've got some different type of material there. With this one, I'm just going to peel the new growth away from the old growth. I'm going to flip that over, and that's what's called a heel cutting. So you can see there's a little heel of the 2 year old growth still attached, and the roots, that's the sort of place where the roots will form. Just here, the hormones are there in the plant to allow the roots to develop. So just keep that nice and tidy. I will just remove these side shoots just to again reduce the moisture loss. And one thing I've started to use recently is this stuff. It's called Clonex. You can get it on Amazon or eBay. It's usually around £10 or £12 a bottle. I've found that this has really helped with all of the cuttings that I take. I've taken rose cuttings, and I found that it's really helped with rooting. In particular, certain varieties of rose seem to be very difficult to root, and this has helped me to actually start those cuttings off. Whereas before, I didn't use any sort of rooting hormone or anything like that, but I found this has really benefited. A rose that I tried to take cuttings from 3 or 4 times and had absolutely no success. I had probably 75% success after using this. I would just say it has got a use by date on. This is obviously out of date now, but it's not too far out of date. I don't have a problem using that. But I tend to buy a fresh bottle every year, um, just to keep things keep things going really. But it has been very beneficial, so I'm going to use some of this as well today. Um, so you can just see, if I just pop that back in front of the camera, it's like a purplish tinge. I don't know if that's coming through, but it's like a purplish liquid um, that sits on there. And then I just tend to push these down the side of the pot, leave a little portion sticking out there. And I tend to just go around the pot again. I'll show you. So that's the older growth. And we just peel away the cutting and just clean it up slightly. Remove the lower leaves from that stem. You don't want those leaves going under the soil. So again, about 2/3 remove the leaves and leave the leaves on the top. Into the rooting hormone. And then into the pot. I position the cuttings around the edge of the pot just to help with drainage, so the cuttings aren't sat in soggy compost. And being near the edge of the terracotta pot also allows the cutting to breathe a little bit, again, so that they don't rot. I do still stick cuttings in the centre of the pot, in the middle of the compost, if I've got the space available, but I find that I have more success by positioning them around the outsides of the pots. So I'll show you another slightly different method, which I need secateurs for. So these are like new leaders which were coming off the main plant. So they're going to be quite long. If I take them at this joint here, that's about 14 inches, about 350 millimeters of growth, which isn't going to be too long for that pot. So again, you can just feel, by giving them a little bend, you can feel where they start to go a little bit firmer, and then just take a cutting there. And with this one, I will just remove the top growth just above bud. You can see there's a fresh bud, more buds on that side, and that's where the new growth will come from. So that cutting is now about 8-9 inches long. Again, I'll remove the lower growth from there, and we'll just pop that in the rooting hormone straight down the side of the pot, and that should be another successful cutting. I'll take another one here, again, similar sort of thing. It's quite soft and bendy up the top there. And then as you come further down, you can feel it starting to get a little bit firmer. So we'll just probably take that one about there. And again, just remove the lower leaves into the rooting hormone, straight into the pot. So now they're all potted up, 4 in the pot there. So what we generally do then is we'll just give them a little mist across, and water, give them a little bit of water just to allow the compost to settle around those stems. That's lovely. So what I will do with that now is I will put that, I will either keep that in the cold greenhouse or put it out in the cold frame where it will sit over winter, and then new roots should start to form when the weather warms up in the springtime. So that's 4 there in the pot, all ready to go. What I'll do is I'll just go and grab some examples of cuttings I've taken previously and just show you those as well. Right, so I've just popped back with a couple of examples of yew cuttings that I've taken previously. Let's tidy those up a little bit because they've got a bit weedy whilst they've been sat in the pots. So that was one that I took this time last year. You can see it started to get new growth here at the bottom and here. Basically from this point onwards is all fresh growth. If I just carefully shake that out of the pot, you can see all the fresh roots there have come from the bottom part up to the top there. So we'll just pop that to one side. And now this is a 2-year cutting. That's now around about 1.5 foot high, I would say. And again, looking very healthy. Generally get about 75% success. You do have to kind of leave them for quite a while. You know, these ones that I've taken today here will sit in there. They probably won't do very much until the weather warms up in spring. And then possibly around this time next year, they'll be ready to pot on. I usually pot them on into sort of smaller size pots, 9 centimetre pots individually, and let them grow on there for a year and then move them up gradually into different pot sizes. Okay, I hope you found that interesting. Please subscribe to the channel. There'll be more videos like this coming soon.